I'm 31 and I've spent most of my life trying to skip the part where I suck. I wanted to be good before I started. I wanted to be impressive before I was ever seen trying. I wanted to be the cool after version without ever having to survive the awkward beginner before. And honestly, this belief has stolen more from me than failures ever could. Once a wise man said wisely, sucking at something is the first step towards being sort of good at something. This particular wise man is a dog, Jake the dog from Adventure Time. But I think about this quote much more than some of the most serious advice I have received in my entire life. Because most of the time, I didn't avoid things because I was lazy. I avoided them because I wanted to be perfect. And since I could never be perfect, I just ended up leaving things midway or not beginning at all. I think the illusion that we are only lovable when we are perfect holds us back much more than we like to admit. Last week I posted a YouTube video. It is the only public video on my channel right now, I mean other than this one. But it was not my first time. In 2022, I had 3 videos on the same channel. I posted them, left them up for a few weeks, and then made them private. Not because they failed. They had around 500 to 600 views each. I made them private because I was scared they would eventually fail. Or worse, that people would keep watching even though I still felt imperfect. And when I saw those videos now, I was upset. Maybe if I had trusted those videos 4 years ago, this channel would be somewhere completely different today. I knew I wanted to create content way before I arrived in Bali. I have always loved writing. I remember during the most stressful days of my so-called Project Featherweight, having to deal with lowballers and bargainers only to earn a few more bucks. I used to daydream about this chapter in Bali. The chapter in which I started rebuilding my body, starting writing again, spending quality time with my bestie and my husband. And then I got here, and suddenly everywhere I looked, there were content creators, YouTubers, streamers, influencers, all looking like they were in their prime bodies, living their best lives on the back of a badass bike with a iced matcha latte in their hands. I got cold feet, to be honest, because I was like, if such quality of YouTubers are already doing it, then why am I starting to write again? Why am I creating videos? Like, what else do I have to say that all these beautiful people haven't said already? I had seen it coming before. While I was still in Muscat, I asked ChatGPT, are there any fat people in Bali? So clearly my nervous system has packed its insecurities way before I have packed my suitcases. I think the cold feet that I was feeling when I got here was my shame. Not just fear, shame. The shame of failing before I even started. The shame of being bad at something publicly. The shame of being a beginner at an age where I always thought I knew who I am, what I'm doing, and I know how to do it so effortlessly. Especially when you're surrounded by one of the world's sexiest expat communities, where everybody looks like they came to Bali to heal and accidentally became a swimsuit campaign. And guess who feeds on shame? Perfectionism. Because shame makes hiding feel logical. It convinces you that disappearing is not quitting, it's protecting yourself. I mean, if you don't do anything, you can't fail at anything, right? But what I have learned now, after years of waiting for the right time to do something, is that shame will find you either way. You will feel it when you run from it, and you will feel it when you face it. The difference is, when you face it, at least something can grow from it. You will never be perfect anyway, but you can always learn to be better. I've spent the past few years waiting for the right time, the best setup, the highest skill level, the perfect body, only to do this, while I could have just started and went on and sucked at it and learned from it since 2022. Now imagine where I could be today. Waiting for the right time, it can actually never end. Maybe perfectionism is not as perfect as it sounds. Maybe it's just a sugar-coated word we use to justify the part of us that never learned how to survive being bad at something. The part of us that never learned how to deal with the shame of a failure, that never learned to love their imperfections. But I want to try now. And if I have to, I want to fail. A few years back, I used to think self-care was about wearing sheet masks, pouring yourself a glass of your favorite wine, eating pizza, watching your favorite sitcom. But now, self-care feels more like giving myself the freedom of sucking at something, letting my imperfect inner child play around, stumble, maybe fall down to her knees and be vulnerable and cry if she has to, and then pick herself up, dust herself down, knowing that she's loved either way. So I think I'm going to suck at this YouTube thing for a while, probably going to suck at rebuilding my body and losing some weight too. But you can always not suck at subscribing to my YouTube channel. Sucking at something is the first step of being sorta good at something. Sucking at something is the first step of being sorta good.